We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet, and I pray one day you'll be thankful to live in that country.
What's going on YouTube? It's Slay Talk back for another reaction. Black students are not oppressed.
Like, subscribe, and notification bell.
Do you think people should be judged based on the color of their skin?
It's not that I think that, but it's that it's happening, and you cannot ignore that I might not be treated the same as him as he walks
You're
through
right,
the door.
it is happening. Like at Coca-Cola, they say they need to train their employees to abolish whiteness. At AT&T, they said they would need to train their employees to get rid of whiteness. We have a supply and demand issue with racism in our country. We have an incredibly low supply of racism and an incredible demand to try to fulfill it. So we've created racism where it doesn't exist and try to turn everyone into mini racists against each other, which has now manifested itself into a massive anti-white movement in our country where I believe more than anything else we should care about character, not skin color. Do you agree with that?
I have never heard those two evidence that you just brought up. Let's look that up real quick, Joseph.
USA Today fact check. Neither McDonald's nor Coca-Cola announced that they would no longer hire white executives. Just from what he said, when they said abolishing whiteness, what is intended by abolishing whiteness is not having whiteness be the standard anymore and get rid of maybe preconceived biases and, you know, adding diversity in people's own minds as to how they view other races. But I mean, you hear the title and then you think that, oh, now there's just racism towards whites.
I see where he's coming from when he says low supply of racism with a high demand of anti-racism. But then when he says like see people based on their characteristics instead of like their color, see somebody for their characteristic would in a way be counterintuitive. Like instead you should see them for like their skills and what they have to bring instead of like their characteristics, because like sometimes, you know, let's say if you're brought up in the hood versus someone who's brought up in the suburbs, the person who's brought up from the suburbs would be like more fit for like the work environment. You know what I mean? Like it would be different when you're looking at their skills and assets they have to bring, because then that way at least you can get some kind of leveling ground that can be somewhat competitive.
I believe more than anything else we should care about character, not skin color. Do you agree with that?
It's not. I don't believe that you understand what I'm saying. It's not that I don't agree with not. I'm sorry. Oh, it's not that I don't agree with, you know, what you just said, but you have to realize that it's black people are like white people are not being hunted after. Y'all can come here and live a great freaking life. Alabama is a safe haven. The PhD fraternities and sororities are a safe haven for white people.
You think you're being hunted?
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand. And I've gone to school with white people my whole life. I've gone.
So
but it's just.
I will end with this. You're not being hunted at the University of Alabama, and there is no boogeyman that's trying to get you.
All right, pause. Hold on. Nah, man. Now he sounds condescending. Like, she's clearly uncomfortable. Like, everybody's laughing and she's like, I mean, y'all can laugh all you want. Like, I'm being dead ass. I don't feel safe in this environment. And then this nigga's still going on and joking on and talking about there's no boogeyman. What the hell, man? Like, take her seriously, man.
He's just completely dismissing her own experience as if he knows better about her own experience. If she's saying that she doesn't feel safe, you can't just be like, oh, it's safe. So you should feel safe too. Like, bro, that's not how it works.
He dismissed her anecdotes with absoluteness too. It's like he just said there's no boogeyman, there's no one hunting you down, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the environment that you're in.
And he's trying to make it seem like she's the crazy one.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to be vulnerable and be honest and be open. And this is why a lot of black people don't want to talk about their experience, because everyone else is just gonna roll their eyes and be like, oh, here we go again, the race card.
He didn't even do his like due diligence to even like try to understand why it is that she feels uncomfortable. Like, this is not like the boy who cried wolf. You know, this is like there's a reason why she's saying this. Do your part and figure out that reason.
And there is no boogeyman that's trying to get you.
It's not. You're making it seem.
You live in the least racist country in the history of the world.
You're in Alabama. You are literally in the place where it's not okay.
You mean the place that has given you more talking time than any other person here, and where they sit respectfully. You're supposed to shut
me down and be like, go sit down? I mean, of course I'm going to talk to you.
That would have happened 100 years ago. You're right. 100 years ago, you might not have been allowed to come into this room, which would have been evil. No, instead, we are here. We're creating a movement to say we never want to go back to the segregation that once existed in this country, that is now being pushed by people in corporate America, in academia, and other places. We want to strive for a country that cares about character and the soul and the spirit of the individual, not on tribes, not on the melanin content.
You don't care about her character, bro. Bro, come on. If you really cared about this individual talking, man, you would want to hear whatever it is that she just said. But right now, it's like he's talking over her. He's making jokes about, oh, the boogeyman. Come on, man. Why you? What he's standing to is just like condescending vibes to begin with. Like,
He's saying obvious stuff that everybody agrees with. There should be no discrimination. And that's what I'm fighting for. But the thing that you're fighting against necessarily isn't discrimination. You need to look deeper than that. I feel like he's just trying to, it's almost propaganda.
Yeah, facts, bro. You know what it sounds like, bro? It sounds like, he's like a newly hired manager at a store talking to like some 80, like some like person who's been working in that place for about the like last like 30 years, saying the most axiomatic like statements like you do this, that, and the other, and tell you the regular spiel of how things should be done when everyone already knows it. He's not saying anything wrong, but he's not saying anything correct either.
Let's say like I wanted to get security for my house because I don't want a thief to break in, and then this guy pops up and he's like, well, people shouldn't steal anyways, so it's wrong for people to steal, so you shouldn't put the security into your house. Like, we shouldn't, but we're talking about the world in reality the way it is. It's more nuanced than how he's trying to make it seem.
There's a lot more complexity to things.
Not on the melanin content in people's skin. And I will say this as compassionately as I can, is that you are not being hunted as a black person in America. There's not a single statistic that affirms that. There's not a single data point. Instead, the opposite is true. We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet, and I pray one day you'll be thankful to live in that country. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
Bro, imagine going to a doctor, telling the doctor, I'm not feeling good today, man. I have all these
Hey, you should be grateful because right now you live in the greatest country that's ever been on the planet.
Nah, but tell me you won't just never show up to that doctor again. Like, come on, you don't want to debate with people like this.
You can't even have a conversation with a guy like this. She's right to just walk away.
She was trying to communicate with this guy so much that she couldn't even like bring up words. He put up a wall against her, put words to that wall.
Yeah, basically he said what you're experiencing isn't real. It's all in your head, and you should be grateful for the country that you're in right now. And you feeling anything other than grateful is just you being like paranoid, Like his whole argument was based on segregation ended, so everything's great now.
Truth be told, we are living in a great country, where we are fortunate to be living in a country where we are able to talk about things like this without much censorship. But it doesn't necessarily help drive anything to state that. Counterintuitive to really just like state the obvious rather than stating things that would actually assist the argument. She wanted to have a debate with this guy, but he just didn't want to have a debate at all, so he just stated the obvious.
I guess like a kind of argument, like to play devil's advocacy, is facts don't care about her feelings. The facts are, there's no statistical proof to show that you should be unsafe in America or something like that. But to counteract that, the feeling of security isn't based upon facts. If my girl feels safe around me, it's not because I'm the strongest man in the world or because I have a gun that I can protect her with. It's more of an emotional thing than it is a logical thing. But you need both of those. Like, that's what makes us human. But to completely like disregard someone's feelings and say that no facts completely over feelings is like, come on, bro. You're not robot, bro. We're not robots. Come on.
Like the attitude this guy has is things are better than they were before. So like this is the best that they can be. But the world is built by people who always try to find what's wrong and try to fix it. Not by people who were like, oh yeah, right now is just fine. Like imagine the guys who were like, oh, I mean, why make cars? We already have horses. I mean, before horses were walking around. You know what I'm saying?
People who speak like this are like sunsets, right? Right? Hey, take it for what it is, right? Like if you don't look at the problem, it's beautiful. But when you look at the problem directly, it blinds you with stupidity. You know what I mean? He seemed to act like he was talking to some activist viewing instead of a young lady, a college student, an actual human. Like he was trying to have a Ben Shapiro moment when those activists are just shouting things at Ben from the crowd.
I have a question.
Everybody.
CJ, come here. Really quick. I have a question. Come here. Go right there. Right there. So CJ, just really quick. You're a black person. Are you hunted at the university?
You know, I don't feel hunted at this university, but I guess the difference between me and some people here is that I don't choose to be a victim, Charlie, which I think is the biggest problem we have here today.
He's an op, bro.
That felt like a whole advertisement, bro. I just feel like I'm being sold something. Nah, I'm just saying the whole setup, bro. He said, CJ, come here. This guy had a script ready, bro.
He was supposed to say that like he was on some type of team, like he's a mascot, you know, like the token card. Like, hey, you're the token card. Come over here. Say what we told you to say.
This dude sounded like a robot.
Oh,
This
God.
dude sounded like an NPC, bro.
Today,
It's funny because we're
driving
talking
here,
about the
I think
character
that's
of like people and all that, but like I'm seeing way more of like a facade than I am seeing like people's actually authentic, genuine character. If I'm being honest, I feel like Ben Shapiro, he'll listen a little bit, like he'll understand a little bit, and
He'll question you to see exactly what you're talking about. At least he'll break it down to some sort of level instead of dismissing you.
Ben Shapiro, he hears what you say and then he reacts to whatever you say with like facts rather than like, you know, scripted lines that he already has prepared. Like,
So CJ, let me ask you, CRT, racist?
It's not just racist. It's the exact iteration of white supremacy, just in reverse. I think it's important that we start teaching young people not to hate other people because of the color of their skin. We can teach black people to be proud of who they are without telling white people they should be ashamed of who they are. You know?
Amen.
I mean, like everything you're saying, like you said, Joseph, he's not wrong. They haven't mentioned not 1 second about the girl. Like, that's literally a straw man. They just keep attacking that same line. Oh, do you feel hunted? Do you feel hunted? Come on. She had a whole, like, argument going on, and you just pick that one line, and you just keep beating at the straw man. That's pretty pathetic, to be honest.
It's a confirmation bias. They're just saying things to make themselves seem more correct. To be able to get away from the whole like oppressor kind of narrative, you have to talk to people. You have to be like communicative. You have to be like actual human beings.
Yeah.
Someone needs to know that there's no like autopilot demon over there just freaking turning everything into hell.
It wasn't even a debate. It was just like a rally.
Yeah, just to like, you know, I guess add on to the whole hunted thing, you feel hunted or whatever thing. Like, I live in the North, but if I was to live in the South, somewhere specifically Alabama, I'm not gonna feel like I'm like hunted. Me personally, you know what I'm saying? But again, that's me personally. We haven't talked about the girl. We haven't even discussed why she feels like she's hunted.
Closing thought, CJ. Is this trying to divide the country?
It's not only trying to divide the country, it's trying to break apart the foundation upon which it was built. You know, people forget the words of MLK, Rosa Parks, all those people who fought so hard for us to be united country, where we didn't see the color of character. This is about taking us away from the vision and the...
If you go back a little bit, did you see the guy in the Make America Great Again hat? How was his skin purple?
Apart the, you know, I don't feel
The heck?
His skin is actually purple.
hunted at this university.
The guy's skin's purple. He's low key oppressed too.
They literally got rid of all that whiteness like he was talking about.
Them trying to eliminate the whiteness. Man.
Alright, we can stop off right there. Alright, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.